Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're going on a seriously fascinating journey. We're going to start all the way up at the jaw-dropping peak of massive global wealth. You know, the mega yachts and the sprawling mansions, and funnel all the way down into the highly secretive, ultra-exclusive fine art market. Let's just dive right in, because honestly, the numbers we're about to see are truly staggering.
$4.5 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. We're not talking about the GDP of a small nation here. And we're not talking about the budget for a major space mission. No, this is the estimated price tag for a single, physical possession.
So what single object could possibly cost $4.5 billion? Well, meet the History Supreme yacht. As of 2025, it is literally the most expensive thing in the world. And the crazy thing? It's not even the largest yacht out there. Its value comes from pure, unadulterated opulence. We're talking solid gold and platinum structural fittings, like solid gold used in the deck, the dining area, even the anchor. Rumored to be owned by Malaysian tycoon Robert Kwok, it is the literal gold standard of wealth.
To really wrap our heads around this landscape, let's look at the absolute peak of purchasing power. At the very top, obviously, is our $4.5 billion yacht. Right below it is Antilia, which is a $2 billion, 27-story skyscraper residence in Mumbai that has 3 helipads. In third, a massive historic villa on the French Riviera. But look closely at ranks 4 and 5. Right alongside these literal mountains of gold and extravagant real estate, we have paintings. Masterpieces on canvas, ranking right next to the most expensive property on the planet.
Section 1. From mansions to masterpieces. This transition brings us right to the core of our explainer today, moving from tangible mega assets into the fascinating and honestly sometimes perplexing world of fine art. Because here we see a fundamental shift in how we actually value things. On one hand, you've got tangible wealth. A mega yacht or a mansion has real, intrinsic material value, right? Thousands of pounds of solid gold and prime acreage. But on the other hand, you have subjective value. A masterpiece like Paul Cézanne's The Card Players, which went for roughly $250 million, is ultimately just wood, aged canvas, and some old oil paint. Its astronomical price tag is driven entirely by human psychology, cultural significance, and history.
Section 2. Secrets of private sales. Now, to truly understand the art market, we have to look at how these pieces actually change hands. It's not always flashy public auctions. Some of the biggest moves happen completely in the shadows. Have you ever noticed that if you try to look up the record price of certain world-famous paintings, you often just hit a wall? You'll find missing or unconfirmed final price tags. It adds a layer of almost true crime intrigue to the whole art world. I mean, how exactly can hundreds of millions of dollars change hands without a single public trace?
The answer here is the private sale. These are strictly confidential transactions bound by ironclad non-disclosure agreements. Take 2019, for example. A rediscovered Caravaggio was set for this massive public auction in France, but just 2 days before the auction, an American hedge fund manager bought it privately. The price? We have absolutely no idea. Or Van Gogh's The Seated Zouave, which reportedly sold privately for $300 million without a single drop of public confirmation. It's this hidden, parallel world of staggering fortunes.
Section 3. The art market heavyweights. When we actually do get our hands on the data, what does it tell us? Let's see exactly who dominates this ultra-exclusive space.
Historically speaking, this market has built up just staggering momentum. For a really long time, old master paintings dominated the landscape, peaking around 1985 at $10.5 million. But then came 1987. Vincent van Gogh's Sunflowers sold for nearly $40 million. That effectively tripled the world record practically overnight and crowned modern art as the new king. Fast forward to 2015, and private sales, like Willem de Koning's Interchange, hit an estimated $300 million. The inflation here is simply astronomical.
And when you look at the absolute highest echelon of these sales, the exact same few names pop up over and over again. Vincent van Gogh, Pablo Picasso, and Andy Warhol. Now, it's worth noting that Picasso and Warhol both lived to see their massive success. They became incredibly wealthy men from their own creations while they were still alive to enjoy it.
But then we have Van Gogh. Today, his work absolutely dominates the list of the most expensive things in human history, with buyers happily parting with $100 million for a single canvas. Yet the tragic reality, back in 1890, Van Gogh sold only one painting,
the Red Vineyard, during his entire lifetime for roughly $2,000 in today's money. It is a profound, almost unbelievable reminder of how wildly subjective value can shift over time.
Diving a bit deeper into the top 89 highest-priced paintings, a very clear, highly concentrated pattern emerges. A massive 81 out of the top 89 paintings are by Western male artists. There is a really deep scarcity of representation at the very top. We're looking at only 7 works by non-Western artists making the list, and exactly 1 piece by a female artist. However, that mold is slowly starting to break. Georgia O'Keeffe currently holds the record for a painting by a woman, with her piece Jimson Weed selling for over $44 million. And leading the non-Western artists is the traditional Chinese painter Qi Baishi. His breathtaking 12 landscape screens sold for an incredible $140.8 million. This shows us exactly where the boundaries of this exclusive market are finally starting to expand. Section 4. The ultimate record breaker. So we've looked at the mega mansions, the private shadows, and the raw data. Now we funnel all the way down to the absolute climax of our explainer, the single most expensive object that bridges this macro world of elite wealth with the micro world of painted canvas. In November 2017 at Christie's auction house in New York City, the global art record wasn't just broken, it was completely obliterated. The final price, including commissions, an unbelievable $450.3 million, all for one single painting. The painting in question is Salvator Mundi, dating back to around the year 1500. It was sold by a Russian oligarch to Saudi royalty, and what makes this $450 million price tag truly fascinating is its origin. It's generally attributed to Leonardo da Vinci, but, and this is a big but, that attribution is heavily disputed by art historians today. Without taking sides on its authenticity, the mere fact that a piece with disputed origins can command nearly $500 million, that tells you absolutely everything you need to know about the buying power of elite wealth. There's this quote, a 500-year-old wood panel that rivals the cost of a sprawling mega mansion. And I think that perfectly hits the nail on the head regarding the sheer scale of the global elite's buying power. We've seen how wealth manifests as a $4.5 billion yacht wrapped in gold, but it equally manifests as a fragile, centuries-old piece of wood and oil paint. At this level, value is simply whatever the market decides it is.
Which really just leaves us with one final provocative thought. The art market has seen inflation that outpaces almost every other asset class on Earth. If a disputed canvas can sell for nearly $500 million today, what will be the world's very first billion-dollar painting? And honestly, more importantly, who's going to be the one to buy it? Thank you so much for joining